I'm Alejandro Gutierrez. I'm a junior at San Francisco State University. So the title of it is The Atheist Doctrine, Confessions of a Recovering Catholic. So I grew up Catholic in a Mexican family, and I really had no choice in that. You know, we just kind of went through the motions, the rituals, and I kind of felt like as I became an adult, it meant less to me, but I had to like almost in a way like recover from that and like kind of peel away layers to figure out, you know, what my own spirituality was. So even it was actually a big collage, and I think it's because I want to get it all off my chest. And I think I got a lot off my chest, but you know, I took a class on like, you know, colonialism, and so I realized, you know, that's what we're talking right now, about how this religion that's part of our culture, Latino culture, is really something that was kind of maybe shoved down our throats a little bit when the conquistadors came to the Americas. So kind of learning some of my history in certain other classes, I realized that, you know, I was just walking blind, and it opened my eyes, you know. So I think this collage, you know, I think what everyone mentioned about it was the red velvet, and I wanted to make sure people understood that it was like the velvet reminded me of going to church, like that like velvet fabric, but also symbolizing the blood of Jesus Christ, but also all the blood that's been shed in the name of religion. So in that collage, there's like a lot of like torture images and like swords, you know. So and also the idealized images of like Jesus Christ with the halo. So I was trying to juxtapose both those together, so you kind of see the clash of these cultures, sort of. So basically what I did was have a cathedral, an alien kind of in the center, almost like the aliens standing there in the cathedral. And that alien kind of represents how my feelings growing up, just never really feeling like I fit in the church. And actually, it was just interesting when I was mentioning in class that I was actually illegal, I think, when I was growing up. At a certain point, I was like, I guess we don't like to call it illegal, but like, I was an undocumented immigrant. So that kind of represented a couple things there, just like my own alienation from religion, my own religion, and just my actual, like, you know, I was an outsider. I came from Mexico here when I was 3 years old. So I think it kind of symbolized a little bit of that, unintentionally, I think.
My name is Rebecca Prieto, and I am a junior here at SF State, and I'm a double major. So my goal was kind of like the effects of acculturation. A lot of it's negative, I feel like, and I mean studies show that it is negative. It's a harder issue for youth to deal with. But I also found it to be very powerful in many ways. And that's only through like figuring out self-work, because I feel as though children of immigrant parents, or maybe even children who came here with their parents without any papers, they've gone through so much trauma that no one ever talks to them about. And like to go see a psychologist or a therapist is frowned upon. It's like, oh, well, now you're crazy because you're gonna go see a doctor. So there's a lot of pain that they carry for a very long time that no one ever talks to them about or addresses. And it carries on through their children. And so now their children are in this world, in a mix of two worlds. So it's like the American world, and then they're still traditional. And I specifically just did Mexicans, because I am Mexican. I didn't want to go too far out, but I wanted to keep it specific. And the youth constantly being oppressed and questioning their identity and where they're from because they're born here but they have roots elsewhere, and so they have a really hard time identifying. To the last little section, how acculturation has affected us in very many positive ways, because I wanted to make sure to bring that out. Famous writers, children's book writers, novelists, and singers and songwriters and musicians that were born here and they're first generation immigrants, or they were brought over here by their parents, and have made a career because of the struggles and the traumas that they had to experience, they have overcome. So this section here is, this section here is just kind of like the trauma. I also put Mexican art to represent that it's still part of Mexico. Some landscape. This is actually from my mom's town here. I was gonna put my dad's original space, but this is the traumas of people that have to go through experiencing the shame and being shamed and almost dying out in these deserts and being shot at and deported and arrested, raped, harassed, robbed, just to cross this one border. And once they've crossed this border, they face more trauma because now they're forced to assimilate, and not only trying to erase their culture, but making them work at jobs that no one else wants to ever do, working long hours. They work hard to make sure that they can provide, but they also face many challenges once they get here, not only from racism, but also assimilation. This section here is kind of the growth of two cultures. The fears, like not being able to graduate if you were brought here, having the dream acts, and the dreamers that wanting to pursue college and they can't because they can't afford it. Police raiding their home, and ICE police raiding their homes and separating their families. Children who are born here have to face this with parents who migrated here, and the flag just kind of represents the unity of both cultures. And then this one out here is a lot of people that I've looked up to and things that have come about because of acculturation. So the Chicano movement, the Latinx movement, it feels as though those came about because of the traumas that they had experienced. These are really great children's book writers. She actually lives here in San Francisco. I've met her. I'm gonna cry when I meet her again. I didn't know it was her, but now I know. Los Tigres del Norte, very political, in touch with their American side and also their Mexican side. Also, there's Lila Downs, who was also born here and grew up and found her roots. Her parents are from Oaxaca. And so she went back and got in touch with her culture. Selena, of course, and just ethnic studies students who happen to be Latinos, and graduating and taking part of their culture as something that is not available in all places, but when you're able to walk the stage with pride, with your roots showing, I think is a very powerful message. And that you're able to study about your roots and your country and your people and your ancestry here in the United States.
The goal of this project was to address the lack of authentic Latino representation in the media and how it has created stereotypes that lead to social problems such as colorism and internalized racism.